Hello, I'm Yvonne from Somerset Libraries, and this is my friend Archie, and we'd like to welcome you to episode 11 of Taunton Library Gardening Club. Today we'll be looking at cutting back lavender, pinching out cucumbers and watering them, but first I'm going to prune the wisteria. This tangled mass of leaves is wisteria. Wisteria are normally grown as climbers, but these are freestanding shrubs. There's actually 3 of them all growing together across the bank. But the process for pruning is the same for climbers as for freestanding. The point of pruning is to restrict the growth, because they're very strong growers, and to ensure you get good flowers in the summer. They are lovely flowers, beautiful, they smell lovely, and I'm not sure which varieties these are, but there's a white one and a blue one here. So pruning is a 2-stage process for wisteria. First now, when you cut off all these little whippy shoots, now this, as you can see, they're long and they're vigorous and they twine just about everywhere. So you need to cut these back now, otherwise they end up in a tangled mess later on. These long shoots need to be cut back to about 15 centimetres or 5 or 6 buds from the main stem. When you're cutting off the shoots, always cut back to something, in this case a bud. The second stage of pruning is in the winter when the leaves have gone and you can see the buds better. And then you cut back the same shoot but much closer to the main stem, about here, just to a couple of buds. So if your wisteria is pruned properly, you should have a really good display of flowers in late spring. Well, here we are with the cucumbers, and as you can see they're growing really well. But what I'm going to do is pinch out the growing tips to encourage more side shoots to grow. Here's the tip of the main stem, and I'm just going to cut it out here. More side shoots mean more flowers, which means more cucumbers. And this is a side shoot. It's growing up from where a leaf meets the main stem. Here it is. And you can see there's a little baby cucumber there, just behind a female flower. There are female flowers and male flowers on a cucumber plant, but don't take the male flowers off just because they don't have cucumbers, because they are needed for pollination. As the side shoots grow, just tie them into the supports if you're using them, or if you haven't got supports, let them trail on the ground. Just a word about watering cucumbers. They need quite a bit of water, but they don't like having their leaves and stem waterlogged. Otherwise they can rot off. So what I like to do is dig a little channel, excuse me, like a little moat around each plant, and then put the water in that. Then it sinks down to the roots without getting the leaves wet. This is the lavender I'm going to cut back. This is English lavender, Lavandula angustifolia, and it's just about finished flowering now. So I will cut it back, ready for next year. The one next to it is a different sort of lavender. This is Lavandula intermedia. It's a cross between English lavender and Portuguese lavender, and it comes later than the English one, so you can see it's in full flower now and the bees are loving it. But to cut this one back, which I'll do the same with that later on when it's finished as well, it's fairly simple. You just cut back to just above where it's woody, where there's some new growth. So just grab a handful chop like that. That keeps it in good shape, keeps it bushy and not all woody and leggy like they often do if they're neglected. Once they get like that, there's almost nothing you can do apart from replace it. This is the new growth here and I'm just cutting above it. Of course, if you've got some lavender bushes that you don't mind going a bit leggy and woody, you could just leave them because goldfinches do like the seeds, but it doesn't do the plants that much good to leave it. Well, I've just finished cutting this back, and though it might look a bit bald now, it'll soon sprout out with lots of new growth ready for next year. Well, that's all for now, and thank you for watching. Do let us know what you think via our social media platforms. We always love to hear from you. And don't forget that library members have access to full digital copies of all the big gardening magazines and other magazines via our website. Just have a look at the website for details. And it's all free. And of course, you can always join online very easily at the moment. So goodbye for now, and I hope you join me next time.